Welcome to part 3 where we're building hyper insulated window inserts for your RV or camper made out of 5 layers of insulation. This is part 3 of the series. If you haven't seen part 1 or part 2, the link above there will take you back to part 1. Otherwise, let's go on. Alright, so here we have it all finished out, and I had the question on the other video about could you use a different material on the inside so you could have something more decorative than black? Absolutely, that's not a problem at all, because the inside is not going to be subject to the condensation on this surface, and you might want something that's more attractive than a black on your window, and I completely get that. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. I've got the material here that I've cut out, and save yourself a little trouble, and you can fold it over and then you can not have to deal with this one edge. But I've made this, and this is of course the same material. Let's see if I can show you how they bond this up. There we go. So there you can see where the layer of vinyl is bonded to the layer of polyester material. It's some sort of heat process. But you can see how that's how they get their waterproof or water resistant properties. So I'm just going to slide it in here like this. And if you notice, mine still has some creases in the material. This material is going to crease until you put it somewhere where it's pretty warm, and then the crease will come out. You can see right here. When I did mine, I kind of did it like this, so I had that crease. That'll sort out, especially even in the winter on a nice sunny, when the sun hits it, that should take care of all those creases. So if you were going to do a different color inside and outside, just do 2 pieces of material. So now that I've got it set right in here, and I've got my top lined up with the crease, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this edge over here. But what I want to do is I want my bond for the glue to be right on the edge. So I'm going to be, you can be pretty liberal with this. Keep it on the tape. Don't let it run down to the vertical side. Otherwise it could show through. So we're going to put it on this edge, and we're going to put it right about here, right about here. And so we can keep our glue edge as close to the edge as possible, because when we put the top one down, that'll give us a good base to bond to. So one of the problems is the material. Let's talk about this material real quick. If you hot glue on the fuzzy side to fuzzy side will permanently bond. Shiny side to shiny side doesn't stick so well. Fuzzy side to shiny side doesn't fit so well, doesn't stick so well. But the duct tape will stick very nicely to the shiny side of it, and then you can then put glue on the tape. Bonds up quite well to it. So in this case, what we can do is we're okay, because we have shiny side that's going to duct tape, and so that will bond just fine. All right, so I'm going to get started here, and we'll put a bead of glue. We'll wait on the corners. We won't do all the corners. But we'll put a nice bit of glue right here on the tape, and then pull this over. And now on this one, you can push down pretty hard, and it doesn't matter if you get glue. See, I got some glue right here on the black. That's okay. We just don't want anything over on the side, because the edge is going to show. This right here is not going to show. So you can get down on this and you can push on it, and if the glue comes through the material, that's fine. But when we do this top coat, we don't want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go all the way around and glue this all the way around here. And so I'm going to need to cut some of this off. It's a little too long, and just glue it all the way around like this on the 3 sides. So at this point, it should look something like this, where you've got 3 sides done. When you glue this side, pull it over pretty snug so that the fabric under the bottom is nice and flat. I've left the corners undone. Now at this point, just go around and check all your glue seams. Make sure they're glued. Of course, the corners are not. And so let's go ahead and address the corners now. So I can just pull it like this. And then what I'm going to do is glue it on like that. So here I pulled this one in, put a dot of glue under there, pulled this one in, put a dot of glue under here. Now I'll put the glue here, pull this over, and glue that one down. And so it looks like that. Kind of like wrapping the Christmas gift, I guess. But you can pull it tighter or looser. I'm left mine just a little baggy here, not real tight, snug, because I know I needed a little extra in the corners. Now, if you can reach under here, you can put it, and need to, you can put a dot of glue under there, because remember, fuzzy sticks to fuzzy. So I'm going to fix this corner over here. So this one I didn't do quite as good a job. You want to avoid the glue blobs like that. And if you do get a glue blob, just kind of hold it there. Don't pick at it. In this case, it's going to be completely covered up, so it's not a problem. But if you do get a blob later on, don't touch it. Let it completely dry, and you may be able just, once it's dry, to pull it off and scrape it off, but I'll try and show you that later, how to do that. So I went and checked all my edges and put a little dab in the edges just to make sure I had a good one. Now, at this point, if you want to do a second fabric, if it's going to be a light colored fabric, use the white duct tape. Since I'm going to be putting black fabric over this edge, we're going to overlap it like this. I'm going to put a strip of black duct tape all the way around here. So because I've got the shiny edge, it's not going to bond well to the fuzzy edge without the duct tape. Now I'm going to demonstrate this with the white tape, but I'm going to end up using the black. So I just took a piece of duct tape and I tore it in half. Now this is just going to take some experience and some practice to get just right. But I want the tape, I don't want it to be right on the edge. I want it to be back off the edge, but not a long way back, because this is where we're going to put our glue strip right here. But I don't want the tape to show. So it has to be back a little bit, and I couldn't, I'll see. So it looks like about like that. So what I'm going to do then is go all the way around. I'm going to take this off, go all around with the black tape. Now when you tear the tape in half, you're going to get like a side that's got some white on it, and then a side that's got the solid black edge. Put the solid black edge to the outside. I'm just going to put it right on there. That's why it's good to do one from start to finish, because then you're finished when you can say, okay, I need to adjust that a little bit. Now again, these two edges over here still have not been done. It just has it over here. We're going to deal with those more toward the end when we flip it over. So here I've got my tape on the three sides, and you can see on the corner, just use smaller pieces of tape, but make sure you leave a gap here for so our glue won't show when we overlap it. Over again, here's the finished side we've been working on. Here's our flap here. And what you're going to do is pull it nice and tight from the top to the bottom. And then I'm going to roll this back, keeping that tension there. And I'm going to expose my tape right here. And so then I'm going to take my glue. And we got to be careful. This is just going to take practice. You don't want to put so much glue that when you push it down, it blobs over the side. We want to keep the glue pretty much on the tape here. So for example, I'm going to put some glue here. Just go real careful. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this down over the glue to where my material's right there. I'm not going to push right here on this bulging part. I'm just going to lightly push right here, and we don't want any blobs oozing out. Now also be careful that you don't push so hard. If you push too hard, the glue's going to come through here. It's going to bond to here, and then you're going to have a bit of a mess. So just kind of be patient at this point. This is one of those that it's going to look better if you take your time with. Just let that dry, hold it for a minute, and let that dry. Now, let's talk about flap, and you'll actually kind of see a little indentation where the glue has taken. So this flap here, now, if you're having some odd-shaped windows, you can leave some of this flap here. I'm going to trim mine all the way back pretty much to this edge right here. But you can leave a little bit of this flap, and what that helps is when you go to push it into your window frame, this flap is going to fold in like that, and it's going to take care of any light gaps that you have. So generally you don't need to have that, but if it's an odd shape or irregular shape window, that might help you make sure that you get that extra bit of complete no light leakage. So I'm going to go ahead and finish going around the three sides doing that so that it looks like this. So you can see there is a little bit where it's not bonded. That's fine, because this is going to go up against the window frame, and it's going to hold down nicely. And so from the inside, what you'll see from the inside, this is what you're going to see. All right, so here I've got all three of my sides glued down, and now I need to deal with the two corners. So it's just basically the same thing. Just keep your glue in the kind of in the center of the tape. Come around, just go slow. And then again, just roll it over like that. And you can see there's a little blob coming out there. I don't know if you can see it right there. So that's fine. I can even try to just roll it a little more to get it to be kind of inclusive there. And then just hold it gently there and let it bond up. do that on the other one. All right, so then it's glued right there. We have our last two corners to do with the ones that's on that edge where the material wrapped around. And so what we're going to do there is we're going to push that corner inside the insert. So what we're going to do is we're going to push that extra material inside here to the point where we're going to push this material back in and roll it back in until we have an edge that looks like this. It's okay that it's a little puffy here and a little puffy there. That's fine. That'll fine tune into the window as it sets. So it's going to look like this. So here we had glued with the tape there. If you remember, fuzzy glues to fuzzy. So what we're doing is we're going to glue this up from here and a little bit there. We're going to do it inside a little bit. Okay. And we're going to go here. Check around on this side that we don't blow out any glue. Looks pretty good. Let that set up. I'm going to do that on the other side. And then we're going to trim off the excess. Now I will have to go back at the end when we trim off the excess and put some glue inside here. Even though that's going to be sticky to sticky, it's going to be compressed. There isn't going to be any stress on it, so that glue bond will hold up okay. All right, so at this point, you're going to have something that looks like this. Everything's glued up, but we got this flap. And as I mentioned before, you may want to cut this wide, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it in. So the end result is you want to have a seam that looks something like this. When you pull it back, you can see the tape edge. Hopefully you won't have any glue blobs. Here's a little tiny one. Sometimes you can just knock it right off. Sometimes you can take your scissors and kind of scrape it off, or sometimes just leave it alone. It's going to be hidden. So there's a little glue that you can see there, but you can see when this is in the window and we trim this up, you're not even going to see that at all. So I'm going to take my scissors now very carefully. You've worked so hard at this point. Just very carefully, and you can always come back and trim more off. But what we're going to do is we're going to come along here and I'm going to cut the excess off, being very careful not to cut the good part. So here we have our completed insert. Looking nice and finished. This will be the inside side. This is going to see here is our other side here. I've just trimmed that off like that. Now go around and check all your seams, because it's okay that it pops up like this, but I might put a little, if I can peel it back to where I can see that, I can put just a little tiny bit of glue there and put that down. But remember, you run a chance it's going to blob out, so just some of it you may just let go. And then what you want to do is when you're all done, just take your hand, rub it down the side, and that'll get a lot of those little hairs off. All right, but before you run out and stick it in the window, we got one more thing we got to do. And did you remember? So if you got excited, ran out and shoved this in the window, now you got a problem because it's stuck. So we need to build a tab. So take a little bit of your scrap, cut a nice size piece. So this is going to be on the inside. Our finished edge is going to be on the inside. So this is going to be to the glass. So what I'm going to do, and remember, fuzzy to fuzzy. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the edge here. I'm going to put it in the center because I don't want to blob it out to the edge. So put that here. I'm just going to put it right about in the middle. I'm not going to press it down too hard because I don't want it to ooze. All right, so we want it to be very sturdy, so I'm going to put another little blob of glue right here. And then I'm also going to put some right along here. I'm going to pull that all the way around and make sure that is really, really stuck tight, because you don't want the tab to snap off. It's not going to do you any good. I like putting the tab at the top of the window, so if somebody were to look in, if they were to take their hands and try to look inside, they're going to be looking in at this end instead of, they might see this little piece here. Now, as you can see, it is a different finish because it's shiny. Well, we're going to fix that up because we want these to be perfect. So what I'm going to do is take another piece of material that's going to be about the size of just the front. We'll go ahead and cut that off. And I'm just going to glue, even though it is shiny. Again, it's not a stress point. it'll hold fine. And so I'll just put a little bit of glue again in the middle. And I'm just going to make sure that that covers the shiny spot. And I might even finish it up here on the end here so it doesn't hang out. There. And then what we have is our tab still has the same finish to it. See, about wait for the glue to dry completely, and then sometimes just rub your finger on that, it'll get rid of it. Or you can take your scissors sometimes and just take your scissors and just rub gently, and that'll get rid of those little annoying bits of glue. All right, it's time to give it a go and try it out in the window. So put it up here. Just kind of sometimes just push it in the middle, pop right in. Fits perfect. Perfectly snug. Let's get some close-ups of the edges. As you can see, there's absolutely no light gaps around. And then to remove it, just pull the tab and out it pops. So here's the window with all the lights on inside, and then here we have our insert. Just looks like nobody's home. If you'd like to know more about the ambulance build, I have a ton of videos taking you through every step from gutting to finishing if you'd like to see those. And so I want to thank you for watching. If you want to hit like and subscribe, that'd help me out. And as the leaves start falling and the colors turning and the cold weather comes, I hope these will help you stay warm in your camper.